Welcome back to Passionate Take. On today's show, I want to talk about Donald Trump and Elon Musk. As you know, Donald Trump right now is the president of the United States. Millions of people voted Donald Trump back in the White House. Now, I know I didn't get an opportunity to share with you my thoughts on Donald Trump versus Kamala Harris. But as we've seen, the American people overwhelmingly voted for President Trump to be back in the White House. Okay, they believe in his vision. They understood that Donald Trump was the right individual to fix the economy, to get the United States back on track, because we were falling so far behind with Joe Biden at the wheel. And the American people just said, we have enough of this. We cannot do another 4 years, especially when you have a vice president who was put in charge of the border. Now, I will tell you this, the vice president's job really is only to wait to see if the president cannot serve and they assume the office of the presidency. But Joe Biden put Kamala Harris in charge of the border. She became known as the border czar. And I don't believe she visited the border until her last year in terms of being a vice president when she visited the border. So that was a total disgrace. The American people said, we have enough of this. We're not going to put Kamala Harris. We're not going to vote her in as president. And Donald Trump won every single district in the United States. And that is an incredible to his team and the job that they did on the ground. And the support was just so overwhelmingly for Donald Trump. He won all of the swing states. And I can remember as we were looking at election night and how he won and winning the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. And that was the state. Pennsylvania is the state, especially we know in the city of Philadelphia, where Republicans, conservatives always struggle. Donald Trump, when he was able to win that state, it was just jubilation for the Republican Party, and they knew that Donald Trump was going to be the 47th president of the United States. And since Trump got into the White House, you understood that some of the people that he brought along the way and named in his cabinet were against the norm, right? Pete Hegseth being the Secretary of Defense, an anchor at Fox News. Granted, he served in the military, but there was not a lot of excitement for Pete Hegseth. Tulsi Gabbard, another one. And then we see Robert F. Kennedy Jr. put in charge of Health and Human Services. Now, if you don't know this about RFK Jr., he is the nephew of John F. Kennedy Jr., but you see Robert F. Kennedy Jr. and the shape that he's in, right? He's all about nutrition, and there's also a picture that has gone viral when he was on Air Force One. And I believe he was there, Donald Trump, Don Jr. was also there. And as you know, what is President Trump's favorite food, favorite fast food, or even food for that matter? McDonald's. He had McDonald's there. He had Big Macs, I believe. And the look on Robert F. Kennedy Jr.'s face was one that a picture would capture 1,000 words. He did not look excited. It's like, really? Really? I'm on Air Force One, sitting with the President of the United States, and here we are breaking meal over a Happy Meal, a McDonald's, when you could have chose any food, and that's the food that we get. But he has cleaned up. He's really want to get rid of the food coloring and certain seed oils, and I believe those are very important because it causes inflammation. So credit. Sometime we see when Robert F. Kennedy Jr. is testifying on Capitol Hill, people are going after him partially because of some of his stance. But I believe he is the right person to lead Health and Human Services. Leave me your thoughts. But like I said, thank you for staying. Keep watching the show, because I want to talk about another individual that has really stirred things behind the scene and now has boiled to the forefront. Who was one of President Trump's biggest and staunchest and the person that donated, you can argue, the most to his campaign? That's none other than SpaceX Tesla founder Elon Musk. Elon Musk was constantly on the campaign trail. As you see President Trump going around the country in different states, in different cities, we see Elon Musk there with his son, and he was not only in the crowd, he was on stage with the 47th president. And he was really advocating. He's like, I believe Donald Trump is the white man, right individual. The American people, you in the crowd, need to make sure you and 10 friends go vote for this man and put him back in the White House. Well, guess what? They did. The American people said, we're putting Donald J. Trump back into the White House, right? And Elon Musk came along, and along with Vivek Ramaswamy, and I'll go Vivek later because there's a whole thing about him, does not look like have a bright political future, but I do not want to segue and go off a tangent on him. But speaking about Elon Musk, he was to be put in charge of Doge. And for those of you that are unaware what Doge is, they are supposed to find any unnecessary, wasteful government spending, people that are still getting a check from the government, and you have no idea what their job description is. Okay, he was going to clean all that up and eliminate wasteful spending. As we know, and this is what government needs to be there to help the country function properly, but they do not need to put their greedy hands on the American people's money and tell it where it should go. You, the American people, are smart enough to know where your money should be allocated, not the government. The government is there to work for the people and make sure the government and certain functions, certain entity function properly. So Elon Musk came in, and that was his job. That was his responsibility, to clean up wasteful and eliminate wasteful spending. Now, well, we know that Donald Trump, and this is in his past, and I was telling my colleagues, I was telling my friends about this, as much as it is an honor and a privilege to be nominated and ultimately get confirmed to serve, being his cabinet, being in a circle to serve with Donald Trump, you knew that these relationships, especially these government political relationships, are not going to last, right? It is the job of the president, and these people serve at his pleasure. So at any point, if Donald J. Trump feels that you are not the right individual, you are not being a backstabber, you not necessarily have to say a harsh word or critical word about the president, but if he feels he want to make a change, it is right, it is his prerogative, he has the right to make that change. The American people voted for him. The American people didn't vote for these other people. The people in his cabinet, these other officials, they not vote for him. They voted for Donald Trump. So anytime Donald Trump said, I feel like I need to make a change, that's his right. That's his prerogative. And as we've seen with Elon Musk, some of his, as he was serving with Trump, his company, specifically Tesla, and I think out in the West Coast, some of the charging station, and we see later with some of the dealership, it was vandalized and people were setting on fire. Let me just say this for clear so that there's no ambiguity about this moving forward. Those people that did that, that's abhorrent. Okay? You can disagree with Elon Musk, you can hate him, you can dislike him for liking Donald Trump, that's fine. But to destroy his property or to go and set things on fire because you don't like something, that shows you are lazy, you are weak individual, and that's why you do these things. Right? Because a strong individual that, no, I'm not going to do that. If I really want to affect change, if I really want to see change made, I'm going to be the change. I'm going to be the agent that affects the change. I'm going to get people to buy into my message and eliminate these people. People that are lazy, weak-minded, and non-educated people are the people that do these things. Setting things on fire, taking the easy way out, going after law enforcement. So that was abhorrent. And we knew it's just a matter of time before Elon Musk got back working at his company, that this position wasn't going to go on forever. So earlier this year, it was reported and absolutely came to fruition because things come out of the White House. Elon Musk was going to leave in May, right? We are now in June. He has left his post. But what has come in the aftermath, like I said, I just want to give you a little revisionist history, but what has come in the aftermath, I think, has stunned everyone. Even some of the inner circle of Trump and his closest advisor. It has stunned them. And like I said, if you haven't subscribed to my channel, before I talk about their feud and what has been going on between Trump and Musk, and they both have, especially Musk, he has to admit his wrongdoing here, and he's not doing it. He's doubling down. Before I go into that, make sure you give this video a thumbs up. Also, if you haven't subscribed to my channel, please take a second and smash that subscribe button before I continue. Elon Musk, in the days and weeks after he left the White House, has really gone on a rage against the 47th president. Let me tell you by rage, what I mean by he's not engaging him in combat, they're not fighting each other, but what he is doing is raging him in a war of words. What he is doing now, because as you know, there's a bill right now that's being passed in the House, already been passed by Speaker Johnson. They have the vote, they pass it. It's going to the Senate. This big, beautiful bill that Donald Trump said is going to revitalize the economy, going to boost the economy, going to help lower inflation, all these sorts of things that's going to help the American people, right? There's not a mandate in it that help EV vehicles, electric vehicles, which was something that Elon Musk pushed for. He absolutely pushed for this. He said, of course, why would he push for it? Now you see these other car companies, but he was the first, right? Elon Musk was the first with Tesla. And now Donald Trump did not put that in this big, beautiful bill that he calls it. Musk calls it something else. I'm not going to say on it, but he called it something else. But Donald Trump did not put a mandate in it to make all the American people buy an electric vehicle. In fact, Donald Trump bought an EV vehicle. I wonder what he's going to do with it now. But he did not put that mandate in there. And that really outraged and upset Elon to no end. And now Elon is firing back. And he's going on these different shows, these different podcasts. And he's saying, this is not a big, beautiful bill. There's nothing about it here. You're not going to... Inflation's not going to go down that much. It's not really a tax cut. It's not going to help the American people. But he's lashing out because he was pushing for that, for the electric vehicle mandate, and he didn't get it. And now he's lashing out and throwing a tantrum like a 5-year-old would when he does not get his way. Also, he's doubling down on that because he said, well, I feel like Donald Trump has stabbed me in the back, so to speak. Now he's doubling down on it, and he is saying that Donald Trump is in the Epstein files, right? You know, Jeffrey Epstein had this relation with girls that were underage and all those issues. But again, I don't want to go make the show about Jeffrey Epstein, but the reason why, because we see Donald Trump made and declassified the Kennedy file, John F. Kennedy, and how certain people buy into the conspiracy theory that John F. Kennedy, there was cooperation with the CIA to take down John F. Kennedy. And now, since Robert F. Kennedy Jr., the nephew of President Kennedy, he's in Trump's cabinet. The president has this authority. He has declassified and made everything known to the public. But what he has not declassified is the Epstein file. And the reason why Musk is saying Trump has not declassified the Epstein file, because he's in it. That's why he hasn't declassified. Now Trump has made his relationship known. He's like, Jeffrey Epstein lived in Palm Beach. Everybody knew him. I knew him. But there was no wrongdoing in regard to that. Prince Andrew, Bill Clinton, did those things. Donald Trump said he didn't do any of those things. Now, does he deny all things with Epstein and didn't know? No, he's not. Because there's a picture of him taking with him and Maxwell, I believe, and also Melania's in the picture. So he's not denying his association, doesn't know Epstein, but just as an acquaintance, nothing more than that. But Musk is saying there's some impropriety, there's something there that Trump is hiding, and that's why even as president, he can declassify it and make it public. He's not going to do it because he's scared to do it. Now, again, like I said, as you watch my show, please leave a comment, tell me your thoughts on it. But this, to me, Elon is reaching for straws here. And let me tell you why. Because Elon has to understand this. He is a billionaire, right? He is the richest man in the world, although I would argue this. He's not the richest. The richest man in the world that nobody knows about is Vladimir Putin. But Putin, because he shares and other people, chefs, musicians, actors, has his holdings, financial holdings. That's why he's not the richest. But one of the richest men in the world. Elon has to understand this. If he want to be known for something, if he's been a great individual, he's added great things, contributed great things to society, no argument there. But he has to stay in his lane. What I mean by that is this. He is not the president of the United States. He is not a governor. He is not a senator. He got into government because Donald Trump put him in charge of Doge. That's how he got into government. Okay? Now, if one day if he decides, I want to be president, I want to run to be president of the United States, by all means, go ahead. But he is not the president of the United States. And because you didn't get something that you want in regards to your company, right? Tesla, you didn't get what you want. Now you're going to go and hurt the individual that put you where you are. That to me is wrong. It's not right. He shouldn't do it unless he have concrete proof, which he doesn't have. Right? He's forcing Trump. He's like, is something there? You declassify and you will see exactly. No. That's not how it works. You have to show me concrete proof. Any wrongdoing, any impropriety, then we go into that. But now he's just lashing out. And this shows how ungrateful he really is, right? Because Trump is also a billionaire. Now, I know some people watching my show, you're like, well, you're really hypocritical here, right? Because Trump has gone after people. I understand that, right? But we're talking about in this moment right now exactly what this is, right? Trump is the president and Elon Musk is a private citizen. That's what he is. He has not been elected to any official government official position. And for him to throw out this allegation and not back it up with anything, to me, is very irresponsible. And it shows, like I said, is there a way back for these two individuals? If I'm Donald Trump and I'm looking at this, no. Why? The American people put me in office. I'm here to do the American people's business. I'm here to help the American people live out the American dream. I don't care about you, Elon. You helped me in my campaign. I repaid that, right? Now, because I didn't put one mandate that you want in this big, beautiful bill that I call it, you're going to lash out at me and claim something that you have no proof of? That is irresponsible. That is not what friendship is about. And it's throw friendship out the window. That is a person that is clearly lashing out, seeking some attention, because now he has no way of getting this mandate into the bill. And it's just disappointing because I thought both these individuals, especially Elon, he was able to put his personal feelings aside and understand that Donald Trump was elected by the American people and he wants to do the American people business. And now this is one thing he has to answer the question about, when in reality, nobody really cares. Okay? They understand Trump is not a flawless individual. None of us are. Only God is flawless. We all have our flaws, some more than others. But when we sit down and really re-examine and look at our life and look at how you live, like I said, as people are watching my show, I don't know how you go to sleep at night, but whenever I go to sleep at night, I put my head down, I get everything accomplished, I put my head down on my pillow, I sleep well that night, right? I didn't screw anybody over, I didn't do anything. I just want to contribute and make sure our society is better than the day it was before. Like I said, leave me your thoughts on this. What do you think about the ongoing feud between these two individuals? Can they find a way back, or is this a lost hope? Because both of these individuals only see their side. And like I said, I'll leave you this one thought. A lot of people, and you will see this in all walks of life, a lot of people, when they don't get what they want, when they don't get their way, so to speak, they have a tendency to lash out. They have a tendency to say, the world, you owe me something. No. The world only provide you with an opportunity. They don't owe you anything, right? So you really need to take a step back and re-examine. And the person that you wake up every morning, when you wake up and get out of bed and getting ready, brush your teeth, showering, all that, right? The person that you look in the mirror, that's who you should be focused on. That's who you need to have an honest conversation with. Because if you can affect you, if you can make the proper change, if you can make the necessary, acquire the necessary knowledge, then you will see at the end of the day, you live a more fulfilling, rich life than anyone could ever deserve, right? Because you see some of the wealthiest people in the world, you look at them, and on the outside, they seem like picture perfect. But when you really go and hone them and have conversation, they're sad individuals. They're not happy. Why are they not happy? Because it doesn't buy happiness. It doesn't buy happiness. Happiness comes from within. Like I said, thank you for staying towards the end of my show. I'll keep you updated on this story, but like I said, I'll share many more breaking stories with you as what's going on in the United States and all around the world as we see what will happen as President Trump implement these policies. I'll come on with breaking news if something has happened, if there's a ceasefire that's agreed in Ukraine. But I just find it, this show, and to come back after my reintroduction show, to come back and tell you what's going on in the world politics, because it's very important that we understand our government, how it functions, and the people that are working in that government. They need to be able to have the liberality and the freedom to do what they say. I understand everyone, including myself, we have an opinion. We have things how we want to get done. But when you have outside noise, you have people that's barking on the outside, so to speak, it only hinders their job. And I don't think that's right. That should not be the case. We hold them accountable, yes, right? But we do not have these outside noise, because at the end of the day, the goal is for the American people to survive. If American people is doing great, then our country is doing great. If our country is doing great, then we are respected all around the world. And isn't that what it's all about? Again, thank you for watching my show. If you, please make sure to hit the thumbs up, get this video a like so it can be spread around. Also, if you haven't subscribed to my channel, take a second and please smash the subscribe button. And also, as you're walking outside and doing things, getting ready for the next day, please make sure to spread the word. Passionate Take. All things hot topic around world, political, sports, nutrition, everything we're going to talk about in this show. Thank you for watching. I'll see you next time.